in. Yes. Breathe out. Muse, every so often nowadays I have to remind myself to stop and relax. Because my brain, it is filled to capacity with stuff. It's like an attic filled with boxes of junk. Some of it junk, some of it not junk. And I'm trying to juggle what's important. And sometimes I get that right and sometimes I don't. What's causing this? Well, obviously what's causing this is jumping back into the theater and memorizing a large role in a show. And to add fuel to that fire, Muse, I'm preparing to audition for another show. The auditions, it's actually a callback, and that happens after the opening weekend of the show I'm in right now. So I'm memorizing my lines, and I am preparing for an audition. And it's a little crazy right now. And to make matters even worse, is the show that I'm preparing for is a musical. Now, Muse, this is not just any musical, it's cabaret, and the character, the MC, has been on my bucket list for a very long time. And the thing is that it has been a very long time since I've auditioned for a musical. And so, because I had taken this very long hiatus, I haven't been using my voice. And I haven't been vocalizing, I haven't been doing anything like that. So, there has been a lot of rust to knock off. And I have been working daily to try to get this back up to speed. And I know that the other actors that have been called back for this role are, well, they're all significantly younger than I am. And they're, for the most part, singers. Now, I'm an actor who sings, which is there's a difference. And I'm just counting on the fact that I can probably sell this role better. But who knows? And you've been giving me all sorts of inspiration for this role, and to which I'm thankful for. But it's musicals are a different beast than regular shows, and the inspiration has to come within song, and it's a whole thing. But just like I did, one of the show I'm doing right now is Die Mommy Die, and you can watch videos of this show on YouTube. You can't, or you can watch the movie. The movie's actually different than some of the videos you could see on YouTube. But unless you're watching Charles Bush play the role of Angela, a lot of times what you're seeing are drag queens playing this role, and they're playing it as a drag queen, and it's, yes, by nature. This play has a heightened sense of reality. It is campy and it's big, but that doesn't mean that you can't approach a character like this from a point of reality. And so that's one of the things that I intentionally did from the very beginning, was instead of playing Angela as a drag queen, which she's not. She's actually a woman in the show. But instead of playing her as a drag queen, playing her in the show, I've been approaching her, and I'm not a drag queen. And I have been approaching the character as if it's real, as if it's all about the relationships and being grounded in some semblance of reality. So it's been fascinating to do that, while at the same time layering on this heightened sense of camp. And so with the MC, you can't you can't not look at this show and remember that remember when it was set and what was going on. It's Nazi Germany. And so if you play this character as just this typical, master of ceremonies without this underlying current of evil, I think that he kind of, this character represents this seduction of not just this underground cabaret or this cabaret, but the seduction of the pure evilness of the Third Reich. It's hard to want to wrap your brain around that, because it was such a bad, it was just awful, and the things that they did were just monstrous. But you still have to, you can't neglect that side of this character. And I have always mused every character I've ever done, every character I've ever written, I have done so with the idea of making them as layered as possible, because we as human beings are layered. I have never come across a real life person, that was one-dimensional. And yes, you'll find people that are very stereotypical. Let's take into consideration the bro, right? You know what I'm talking about when I say the bro. And maybe on the surface that character is all about being a bro and having his bromances and all of that. And it's like well, you can just handpick any character on television or in real life. Martin Shkreli, the pharma bro. But if you look at them carefully enough, you will find dimension. And it may be as simple as the love for their family, their wives and their children, or their husbands, or whatever. And if you overlook those dimensions, then you are either performing or writing unrealistic characters, because we are complex. We are complex socially and privately and personally and professionally. We are just incredibly complex people. And, it's like, I remember once I was playing it was a play called The Foreigner. And I can't even remember the name of the character. But it wasn't the main character. But this guy was a member of, he was a white nationalist, pretty much. And at first it was very easy to just play racist. And then at some point in the rehearsal period, I realized that if I were portraying just a racist, then no one in the audience would care about that character. It would just be someone to serve a simplistic purpose within the script, instead of serving a grander purpose for the relationships of the characters and the production as a whole. And it wouldn't serve the director's design or idea, his theme for the play. So what I had to do was I had to find something, a redeeming quality of this character. And it was hard because it really wasn't in the script. The lines just weren't there in the script. And so, in the end, there was this kind of hidden, latent sympathy for this person that he was persecuting. And, so it's the same thing with the character of Angela, for example. I don't want to get too much into this character because there might be people out there watching that are going to come and see it. But she is, on the surface, this, I don't want to say has been, but she hasn't been in show business for a very long time. And she clings to that. But that's not her truth. Her truth is much deeper than that. And she did something early in her life that caused a major change. And So even as written, this character is incredibly dimensional. And but it's very easy to simply play on the surface this has been star, this Hollywood starlet whose shine is dim, is incredibly dim, and she longs to return to it. It's easy to play that, but at the same time you have to play this. You have to play with Angela. You have to play the good guy and the bad guy at the same time, and it's incredibly fun. It's a wonderful journey to take, and so with the MC before these auditions, I have to find that same thing. And I know with the MC, there's this MC has this incredible love for entertaining, while at the same time he has this incredible desire to seduce the audience into his web of deceit. And not necessarily his web of deceit, but the Nazi web of deceit, I guess. So there's all sorts of stuff to play. For some reason, my GoPro has decided that it's going to shut off randomly. It's voice activated, and sometimes it... I broke the fourth wall. I'm failing. I am failing miserably right now, GoPro. GoPro, no! Muse, see what I'm doing? This is crazy. I am such a jumble right now. And you know, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to be a jumble now, because I feel like all of a sudden, like I was just talking about, I feel like that my craft has been gifted another dimension. I've been writing for a very long time now, and I was writing before I retired as an actor. I wrote while I was retired as an actor, and while I wrote as a retired actor, I think that on some level I may have neglected that part of me. And now that I'm getting back into it, it's all coming back. And now I think that when I dive back into writing after I'm done with the show, things are going to be different for me. And I'll be able to dive back in with a newfound love and desire, not just for the words, but for the craft and for the art and for the relationships with the characters and the stories and all of it. And it's exciting, while at the same time, I'm terribly afraid of how I'm going to feel when the show closes, because I know that there's going to be a long period of time where I'm not doing that again, and I miss it now. It's one of those things that once you've done, you can't undo, and I don't want to undo it. I want to just keep doing it. And so, you know, I think fortunately it will complement my writing, and my writing complements my acting. So I think that it's a win-win here. And I think that I am a better actor for being a writer, and I'm a better writer for being an actor. And, you know, it's all about dimensions, just like I was saying. And if you're not performing or writing characters with dimensions, then you need to take a step back and view your characters from above and find out what their dimensions are. And hopefully you'll discover that there are many. Because if there aren't, then something's wrong with that character. Right? And now, Muse, I've got to stop talking to you, because I've got to save my voice, and I've got to go vocalize a little bit more before I get some exercise, before the wife comes home, before blah, 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 blah. Do you understand what I'm saying, Muse? It's all about the blah. I'm kidding, it's not about the blah. It's about avoiding the blah. Right? Avoiding the blah. And we avoid blah by what? I ask you a question even though I know you know the answer. You avoid the blah by adding dimension. That's right. You, Muse, get an A for the day.